Welcome to the stream. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope the sound is good. Just double checking that the mic is on, and let's do that as well. That's a new little thing to the stream that I hope y'all will enjoy. Let's see that everything is looking good. You're live. The internet can totally see you now. To stop use the encoder. Wesley, morning. How's it going? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. All good with you? You're first on board too. Let's see if everything is up and running on Twitter as well. I know I have some Twitter questions. The first one I've already lined up there on screen for everybody to see. And that's from Nelson. So I'm going to see. Yes, we are live on Twitter as well. Perfect. Oh, you're going in hard right away. Let's do it. Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. Bam. You need boom. That's gonna be. That's still Aaron Rodgers for me though. Even though he has a they give out 30-second least points to quarterbacks, meaning they're the worst opponent you can face. But to me, he has a bigger boom and a bigger chance of booming as well with 12.9 to be above 24.2. He has a lower projection though, but lower risk, much higher risk for Jackson. I'm still going Rodgers. He's still, to me, one of the absolute best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback. And you know he can carve up any defense on any given day. And as you said, you need boom. To me, that's, with my numbers, that's going to be Rodgers. 9.8 to be above 19 compared to 12.9 being above 24. So it's a much higher chance of him being above 24 than for Jackson to be above 19.5 for me. So I would go Rodgers. Let me get to oh no, let's just get straight into it. Nick, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. How about them Chargers? They've been looking good. My dad doesn't know too much about football, but I've been teaching him this year the old saying of Chargers gonna Chargers, meaning, you know, miss a field goal or a kick somewhere on the line, make sure to lose the game. But I feel like they might have changed this year. They might have changed. Mighty impressive win on Thursday night, especially with how many players are out for them. Rivers is really stepping up. I'm so happy that I gave the advice to start Mike Williams to Gregor on Twitter. He's one of our regulars on Twitter, so I'm really happy about that. He won his game, or, well, practically won his game. Michael, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. I can start Samuels at tight end. Should I start him over Gronk? I need highest floor. Rob Gronkowski. Wait, you can start Jalen Samuels? Am I tripping? Who we're talking about here? It's so many players. Sometimes I lose a name. Do you have a first name for Samuels? I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry about that, Michael. Wesley, sit one. Dalvin Cook, Sony Michel, Aaron Jones. Oh, you can start Jalen Samuels at tight end. That's interesting. And you need highest floor, so that would be Samuels for me. With against Gronk, 3.6 versus 2.8. Bust chance, it's a higher bust chance of him being below that though. But I would still go with Samuels. He does have a higher floor that I expect him to get. Both have roughly the same risk of being around 8.8 and 7.4. It's a lower chance of busting though for Gronk. Tough one. Real tough one. And I'm going with the higher floor, so I'm going Jalen Samuels on that one. For higher floor and safety. Sit one of Dalvin Cook, Sony Michel, Aaron Jones in PPR. So we got Aaron Jones, 12.4. With 2 receptions, getting to 15 points in total. 4 receptions for, who was this? Dalvin Cook. That means that I'm sitting Sony Michel in PPR out of these ones. Oh, I think I'm sitting him in standard as well. Maybe. In PPR, I'm sitting Sony Michel over the other 2. Still prefer Aaron Jones, even though he has a tough matchup. Michel almost has the same. You see the opponent rank here, 24 versus 25. This also includes their recent trends, which is a new thing that I've been working on to kind of change up the ranking of the opponents, not to just have a season-long ranking, but instead focus on how they performed recently. Let's get to this Twitter question before I get to you, Demetrius. We got Mark Ingram, Kenny Golladay, Gus Edwards, or Kenneth Dixon in PPR. Which would be Kenny Golladay in PPR. That's a lot of receptions going for Golladay compared to the other guys that I would have preferred in standard. And that was Nelson. Prefer Golladay in PPR. And then I wanted to see if anybody could just let me know. I know I've added something to the stream. Not sure if it's noticeable, but I've tried to add some background music to try to, you know, change up the stream just a little bit. So let me know if you can hear it. If it's annoying, let me know and I'll turn it off. Or if I need to turn up the volume a little bit. So please let me know in the comments. And with Demetrius, yo, Flex, yo, how's it going? Welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board as always. Flex, Carson, or Pettis? Chris Carson or Dante Pettis. I think. Ooh, that's even. Do I have Chris Carson that high? Okay. It's very high. Lower risk. Higher floor. Roughly the same ceiling. High chance of booming. Was Demetrius, was that in PPR or standard? Because in PPR I would go with Pettis, and standard I'm really liking the high floor here of Chris Carson with a high chance of being above his 16.0 ceiling. PPR, okay, I will go Pettis then. That's more receptions. I feel much safer with that, and they roughly have the same upside in my book. So the PPR point will give the edge to Pettis on that one. Nick, thank you for that info. Perfect background music, love it. And I thought that was a pretty good addition to the stream. I've been working on it because I've been messing up on the music for a little bit, for a while. Let's see what we got. Oh, no problem, Michael. Happy to help out. Wesley, no problem to you as well. Happy to help out. I love these little exclamation point and question marks. Can I do that too? No, mine just looks regular. Okay. That was just a test. I'm just being random there. I'm gonna remove it. Where are we? Seth, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. My team is depleted. You've helped me in some tough decisions throughout the year. Thanks for that. No problem. Happy to help out. Kenny Golladay versus Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb or Kenny Golladay. That's not Randall Cobb. There we go. I'm having a really hard time starting Cobb with these numbers. Low risk for both, lower for Golladay, but both have low projections. Kenny Golladay has the high one. He does have the higher floor. That should be 0.3 as we know. Higher ceiling for Golladay. He has a high chance of busting, but that's no problem when it's that low. Much high chance of booming being above the ceiling. Roughly same difficulty in opponents. In PPR, they're roughly evenly matched here as well. One more reception for Cobb, but really low yardage then. So I would start Golladay over Cobb. And that was Seth. Thank you, Seth. Wesley, 73% of experts say sit Aaron Rodgers and start Lamar Jackson. Can you justify the consensus that I'm going against the consensus? Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I think people base their rankings more on what the opponents are doing. Like if you have Aaron Rodgers playing Chicago and Chicago give up 8.9 points on average to quarterbacks, I think people put too much emphasis on that number compared to what the actual player does. Usually I don't like how much I can actually get you that number, how much emphasis I put on it. Let me get that on off screen though, because that will look a little weird. I'm gonna get you the exact number that I have just to be transparent and give you a clear view of why I prefer Rodgers over Jackson. You see, I still have a higher projection for Rodgers, but with so much more risk that I like that floor, and in the playoffs I like a high ceiling. Is still, he's 18.3. He's very close to his ceiling, and a much lower percentage of being above the ceiling against Tampa. Let me get that number. Where is it? Working off screen real quick. There we go. Okay, so I got 0.94 points is the impact of this, which means that usually the impact of the team. So if can I do that real quick like this? Times 0.94. That's how much it would impact for Rodgers. But then you gotta include other factors as well. 0.94. While his scoring will be impacted that much. So it's a much higher impact playing Tampa than it is playing Chicago, which is fair. It's a big difference. But then you gotta take into consideration their own scoring and scoring trends. And he's playing, that's Rodgers on the road versus Chicago. Let me bring that up to Aaron Rodgers on the road, where he's usually around average. He's 49% of his average versus a top defense that's 46% of his average, so that's all right. And then when he's playing an above record team, 47%, so he's a little bit below his average. That's okay. Not too much change though. That's why he's at 16.5. And then taken into account as well, I know I'm going way deep on this one, but let's see real quick. Rodgers has a 3-game average of 15.8. So I think that's all the factors that go into my decision making here. And then we got, where is Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson. He has a 18.6 average, but that's very close to his ceiling, which is concerning. And I know I went off the deep end, but that's where I'll land on it. That makes me uncomfortable to start Jackson over Rodgers when he has such a much higher ceiling. But it's totally okay if you want to start Jackson. Like that's fine. It's just sometimes my numbers differ from other experts, and that's fine by me. Demetrius, Cam Newton. I have such a hard time saying Newton, whatever. Cam, Derek Carr. Much higher projection, lower risk, higher floor, higher ceiling, high chance of busting. A big bust percentage actually to be below that floor. It's a high floor though. High chance of booming as well versus New Orleans, who give up 19.3 points on average and have a ranking of 8 right now to giving up points to quarterback. I'm not as worried about the shoulder as some other people are. So that's why I think I've answered this question one more time this week, and I went with Cam over Carr. I'm not as worried about the shoulder as other people are. So that's one of the reasons that I'll go with him. Agent, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Jared Goff or Ben Roethlisberger. So that's gonna be Ben for me on this one. Ooh, that's a big. Wait, hold up. Yeah. Yeah, that's still Ben. Goff has been looking a little like, I mean, he's played some tough defenses, but Cooper Kupp is really missing. Philly are terrible, though. That's just me being a Dallas Cowboys fan. So, never mind. I'm still going Roethlisberger on this one. Even though he has struggled against New England. I think he will bounce back on this one, Big Ben. I've been loving him all year, which is strange because I'm usually a proponent to bench him because he's too unpredictable. But I like what he's been doing. So that's Ben for me. Maui, how you doing? Welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Hey, buddy. Good morning from Hawaii. How early is it there? That's got to be, what is 12 over here? So that means, well, no, it's not 12. It's 6 over here. It's 12 on Eastern time. So that's got to be like, I don't know, 7 a.m. Great video on Robert Woods. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the hard work. No problem. Happy to do it. It's been a lot of fun this week. I have some exciting news to share with everybody in a few moments as well. Zach, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. So Ware was out, and I couldn't get Williams. Now I'm sitting with Sony Michel, Gus Edwards, or Kenyon Drake. I'm leaving Michel due to volume. What are your thoughts? Gus Edwards, Sony Michel, or I think I'm actually loving Drake this week. He has a high projection, highest risk though. Floor comparable, but still he has the middle one. And the highest ceiling comparable to Michel. Low chance of busting, so I'm not worried about him being below his floor at all. Much more worried about Edwards. And, yeah, okay. Boom chance, not really that I'm thinking he's going to be above 17.3. And okay, defense giving up 9th most points to running backs. So I'm liking Kenyon Drake on this one. Was it just that you want a 1? Yeah. I think Michel, I've always said Michel and James White and all the running backs in New England, you never know what Belichick is gonna do, and he is outsmarts everybody at every time and at every turn. So it's very difficult to know what he's gonna do. I prefer Kenyon Drake, even though I think his volume is gonna be a little lower. He has been blessed with some big plays and some touchdowns, but I like what he's doing, and the Minnesota defense is not what it used to be like a year ago or earlier this season. So I'm liking Drake. I have his prediction rolling somewhere. That was Keenan Allen one coming up. That one is an old one. And that's Boyd. I think Drake will come up on screen in a few moments as well to get all his numbers again. Josh, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board as always. Andrew Luck or Tom Brady. Oh, that's even. 19.6, 19.8. Lower risk for Luck, higher floor, higher ceiling. Both have roughly the same chance of busting and booming. Tough defense for Luck. Easier defense for Brady. I'm still going Luck on this one with the lower risk and the higher floor and the higher ceiling. So 3 numbers go for him while the defense is in favor of Brady. But Luck has been looking real good, and I'm a little scared of him actually. I want to clinch that playoff berth, but I don't think the Cowboys are gonna win this week. I think they're gonna have to rely on Philly and Redskins losing and then winning by default. So I think it's gonna be a tough game. Even though they limited the Saints, it's hard to do those games over and over again. I think Luck just tends to. He's been shut down once this in the recent history, but otherwise I think he gets his yards and he gets his points. That was Josh. Thank you. Agent, I need high scoring this week, down by 22, but I have 4 plays left and the opponent has 7. Wait, what? I need high scoring. You're down by 22 and you only have 4 plays left and the opponent has 7. Holy crap. Oh, that's a lot of stuff going on. That was on the Jared Goff and the Big Ben one, right? goof. Why do I keep doing that? I still have Ben as a high chance of booming, so I would stick with Ben because they roughly have the same ceiling. Wesley, okay, got it. Great feedback. You're awesome. Keep it up. Thank you very much, and I'm happy you love my response. I try to be as transparent as I can with all my numbers. Maui, deep analysis on Rogers Jackson. Love it. Great stuff, man. Happy that you like it. I try, as I said, I try to be as transparent as I can. I want to be accountable for everything. When I mess up, I want y'all to call me out on it, and when I do good, I want a pat on the back. No, I don't need it, but I love when you call me out on a bad advice or anything like that, and go deep into a question. Sleek, nice to see you again. Happy to have you on board. Welcome to the stream. Jordan Howard, Dante Pettis, Dion Lewis, full point PPR. Let's check the PPR numbers. 3, 4, total 15 for Pettis. Gotta be my guy, Dante. Been loving him. Did a deep dive into him last week. Really good numbers. I think he's gonna do great against the Seahawks as well. Even though the Seahawks they're looking good, I think they're gonna be dangerous, and they might kill somebody's playoffs hopes. That first round. But they do give up a lot of points to wide receivers, and he does have better numbers across the board. That's a little even. He does have the higher risk, but his projection is so much higher, and the PPR numbers is looking good for Pettis. Thank you, Sleek. Demetrius, and you said Pettis over Carson at flex, correct? Let me just make sure that I did. Chris Carson, that was PPR, right? And then I gave the edge to Dante Pettis in PPR over Carson. Yes, correct. Let me see. What types of podcasting equipment do you use? Video quality is good and audio is clear. Awesome. But the video is just my my computer screen. I have a Predator Helios 300 that I'm using, and usually when I do a video, I use one of these because I sit very close to the microphone to try to get a clear noise. I'm not using it now, but I'm gonna set it up in the new apartment. I'll get to that in a moment. And then it's just one of these. Snowball, I think they're called. A blue Snowball. Snowball Ice. Blue microphones. Yeah, it very, very crisp sound. Very happy with it. $50. Got it for my birthday 2 years ago from my fiance, who is awesome and supports me very much with this. But I like that you like it as well, that it's good quality. Nick, best DST this week. Ooh, who is my best DST? Let me go over to... Let me just check that because I haven't really thought about it that much. That should be the Giants are looking good. The Saints, let me do like this. These should be my top ones that I'm loving. The Bears, the Giants, they have a lot of risk involved, but it's still, I'm still rolling. I like what they got going on. Saints are looking good. Texans already played, so we can remove those. And then Ravens, of course, are looking good. Rams look good, but that's pretty much it. Not too many high projected DSTs for this week. We haven't seen too many high scoring games, I feel, in the last couple of weeks from DSTs. So the projections have been lowered a little bit because it's the same teams over and over again. The Giants just, oh, excuse me, just a big itch. But that's, yeah, that's what I got going on. Oh, it's 7 a.m. Maui. That's rough. I appreciate you for joining us here, though. Demetrius, and that would be PPR for Pettis and Carson. Yeah, so that was the Pettis over Carson with the PPR. Exam production. Did I get that right? Exam production. And now my mouse is stuck. There we go. Pick 2. Luck, Brees, and Trubisky. 4-point passing touchdown. Oof. Andrew Luck. Mitch Trubisky. And Drew Brees. Mitchell Trubisky is what he's called over here. Low projection, high ceiling. Highest projection, good risk, high floor, high ceiling, highest ceilings over here. But with the 4-point touchdown, yards, I would go these two. Because Brees has been relying on touchdowns a lot. I know Luck has thrown a lot of touchdowns, but he does have those deep shots. And the Cowboys give up a lot of yards. They just don't give up a lot of scoring. So I would go with Luck and Trubisky. Even that's just because of the scoring system that you use. That would happen. You know, he has almost no risk of being below this anyway. So I would go Luck and Trubisky due to the scoring. Otherwise, I would go with Brees. Because you'll have to rely more on the passing yardage than the touchdowns. Then a touchdown. I mean, 4-point passing touchdown. That's the regular one. That's what they always use. Why did I think it was different? Isn't that the standard? So I'm yeah, Luck and Brees then. Yeah. Luck and Brees. Unless you're like dying for upside, because then I would snag in Trubisky over Luck. Yeah. Because try to get that 32-point ceiling over the 26.6. If you're dying for upside. I'm doing that in one game. Even though Matt Ryan has a higher projection, I'm just jonesing for that ceiling, jonesing for it. So I'm even though they're pretty close to each other, I'm just gambling on Trubisky reaching, like, going crazy. It's not reasonable at all, and I would never do it in any other circumstance. But I'm behind quite a lot. I think I played Robbie Anderson and Mike Williams or something like that. So I'm just gambling the crap out of it. Ice bloody poop. Flex half-point PPR. Jeffrey, Martin, Shepard, Cobb. Alshon, Jeffrey, Doug, Martin, Sterling, Shepard, or Randall, Cobb. It's not gonna be Cobb. He is the lowest of the low. Flex half-point PPR. You just flexing one, so that would be half-point PPR. Let's see. Well, that's a lot of receptions projected for everybody but Martin. He does have the highest projection though, but he comes with a lot of risk. I would still go with him though. Because it's half-point PPR, so these numbers get cut in half. If it was PPR, I would have gone with Jeffrey or Shepard. But in this case, I'm going with Martin because it's just half-point. Thank you for that question. Zach, thank you. You're welcome. Happy to do it. Nick, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Dante, Pettis, Kenny Galladay, Corey Davis. Is that PPR or standard? In standard is going to be Pettis easily. And in PPR, it's still Pettis. Love what he's got going on. Easier opponent, higher projection, roughly same risk. Yes, Davis, almost highest floor, highest ceiling, no chance of busting. Galladay has a higher chance of booming, but it's still Pettis all the way for me. His projection is just so much higher. Thank you, Nick. Agent, Josh Adams or Allen Robinson? Wait, did I read that wrong before? Thought I had it up. Allen Robinson in. Okay, I thought I read Allen Robinson out. My bad. Allen Robinson, Josh Adams. Don't want to play Adams because Wentz is out, and if the Eagles go down, they most likely will play Sproles over Adams. If that's how you feel, that's what I would do. 2-point different, much lower risk, lower floor, higher ceiling, no chance of busting, low chance of booming, high chance of booming. Easy opponent for Robinson. If that's how you feel, I would go with Robinson. I would not go with a player that I don't feel comfortable with at all. Especially the numbers aren't like stacked against him, so I would go Robinson over Adams in that case. Buffalo, Bills or Detroit Lions. Higher projection for Lions, higher risk, roughly the same. I feel like I've got this question before, and it was extremely difficult. Did you ask me this on Twitter and I was being vague about it? You added New York Giants, which makes me feel very good to say the Giants because they have a high projection. Sure, they have higher risk, but almost, 1.5 points more projected than the Lions. With the highest ceiling as well, which is pretty darn good to have this week. So I will go with the Giants. I have them highly ranked this week. These two are very evenly matched because of this difference here. That 1.3 points versus 26.7% risk difference. So I would go Giants, Lions, Bills in that order. But Giants, Lions, Bills in that order. Very difficult question though. That was Demetrius. Lil Turd 10. Welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. David Johnson. Or wait, I missed it. Adam Thielen. High projection, high risk, but still manageable. Higher floor, roughly the same ceiling. High chance of busting, but much higher chance of booming. Adam Thielen for me. I really don't like David Johnson this week, apparently. Like, at all. Which is strange against Atlanta. But I will go with Thielen. Easy opponent, give up a lot of points to wide receivers. And apparently, like I said, I don't like David Johnson at all. Okay, interesting. But that's how it is sometimes. Justin, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Sony Michelle. Wait, let me just do this first because I see David Johnson. Whoops. David Johnson question later on. Sony Michelle. Jalen Samuels. Marlon Mack. Or Gus Edwards. For your flex. Is this PPR or standard? In standard, let's see real quick. Highest projection, much higher risk than Michelle. Highest floor, low ceiling. Highest chance of booming and busting for both these guys. Standard scoring, thank you. No risk. Okay risk. Highest ceiling. Terrible off, like really difficult situation. Highest projection. I feel not comfortable at all saying that I would rank them in this order. Yes. But as I said, not comfortable at all ranking them in this order. And what happened to his ceiling? There we go. Yeah. Is that right? Do I even feel good about this? No. That way. I would rank them that way. Michelle, Edwards, Mack, Samuels. There's a lot of risk involved with all of them. Very difficult situation to rank all of these. Mac has such a difficult situation facing Dallas. And no chance, like, really low chance of busting and booming, but that's a really high ceiling, so that doesn't really matter. I would have to go Michelle, Edwards, Mack, and Samuels in that order. That was extremely difficult situation, but I think you'll be all right with all of them. I don't think you're gonna be crazy good with either of them, if that makes sense. Yeah, that one should drive you crazy. Like, holy crap. Also, we've been doing for like 36 minutes, so I think this is a good time to let everybody know that I will be moving within a really short period of time. I just got my approval for my American visa, so I will be seeing you all in America in a few weeks, or yeah, depending on when the next stream is gonna be. I might not do one next week, considering my moving schedule. So I hope everybody is excited that I'm gonna be on the same time zone as y'all, and hopefully we can set something up for next year or the off season where we can have a meetup or something like that. That could be kind of fun. Maybe do a live draft of some sort for a fantasy league that we can do with the people here on the live stream. Thank you very much, Josh and Justin. I'm excited. And Josh, you were thinking Chris Carson and Tariq Cohen. Now I'm writing Carson and Tariq Cohen. There we go. Projection, roughly the same, almost the same risk. Highest floor for Carson. Higher ceiling for Cohen. No chance of busting. Okay chance of booming for both. Higher chance of busting for Carson. But he can't, yeah. That, with the chance, being no bust chance at all for Cohen. But the boom chance is there for Carson, meaning more upside probability. So I will go with Carson for upside, considering we're in the playoffs. So I would go Carson over Cohen just because of that. And Nick, you missed that I just announced that I got approved for my American visa, so I will be moving to the United States to be with my fiance. Not sure if you're watching, boo. Let's see what we got. David Johnson or Chris Carson. Okay, we can get Chris Carson up again versus David Johnson. Perfect. That was Demetrius in PPR. Let's see what we got. 3 receptions for David Johnson. So he's a little safer. Yeah, he's very much safer in PPR. Otherwise, I would not like him at all. So I will go in PPR. I will go David Johnson, and standard I will go Chris Carson. But in PPR, David Johnson gets those receptions that bumps up his floor quite a lot. And Vincent, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Juju, yes. No. He was on my must-start list this week. But you have some really interesting guys to compare with him. Not Diggs. He has a lot of receptions projected for him, though. 7. Whoa, Smith has 7 projections, predicted receptions. So Juju Smith-Schuster, T.Y. Hilton, and Diggs in that order. Love what Smith-Schuster got going on. He's really impressed me, not just as a fantasy option, but as a receiver in general. But how you can have 2 top 8 wide receivers on your team in fantasy is freaking amazing. And Smith-Schuster is on my must-start list this week. He's one of my absolutely highest ranked wide receivers. I'm not sure if I have a player that is above him. 4 wide receivers, actually. Let me see that. Yeah, that would be Amari Cooper, but he comes with so much more risk than Schuster. So much more risk. Let's get in a question from Twitter real quick. Westbrook, Robert, Foster, Willie, Snead, and John Ross. Which two in PPR? That would be top dog Westbrook, followed by Snead. Yes, thanks to those receptions. So that's Westbrook and Snead in PPR. From that was Andres on Twitter, one of our regulars. Thank you. And then we got Pettis for me from Matt. Thank you, Matt, on Twitter. Just getting through the Twitter questions real quick. There we go, so I can get back to y'all here in the chat. Oh, that's what happened. Congrats. What country are you from originally? I'm from Sweden. So that's where I am right now. Been waiting on getting this the situation taken care of. Been spending 2018 back home here. So that's gonna be a nice Christmas gift. Moving in and moving back together with my fiance. Where are we? Corey, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Ian Thomas or Cameron Brait and Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger. Let's see what we got. So I prefer Brait up here. Has a high projection with roughly the same risk. Lower floor but much higher ceiling. High chance of booming on Thomas though. Crap. That's a lot of chance. But it's just being above 5.7, so that comes with it. Because as I've been saying, booming means being above your ceiling and busting up being below your floor. And for the quarterbacks, low risk, lower projection. It's still okay for a quarterback to be in 43%. That's all right. Higher ceiling. I mean higher floor. Higher ceiling on Brees. Higher chance of being above the ceiling for Big Ben. But I prefer Ben in this situation as well. He's so close to the ceiling of Brees, but with a high chance of being above his own of 29 versus Brees being above 31. It's a tough call on this one. But I will go with Ben. He really like what he's got going on this week. Even though he has been a little injured, but I'm not too worried. I will go with Brait and Ben. Oh, Maui, you missed the news. Okay, one more time. I just got approved for my American visa, so I will be moving to Atlanta in the upcoming week. I'm excited to move to the United States and move in with my fiance once again. We've been spending some time apart here in the fall, so it's been a tough time being separated. But now we're moving back together since my visa is approved. No name, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Russell Wilson or Andrew Luck. Roughly same projection, roughly same risk. Lower projection with a higher risk though should be taken into account. Lower floor, lower ceiling. Roughly same boom chance, a little bit high bust chance for Wilson. They don't pass a lot, that offense. He had like 20 attempts last week. Even though I love Lockett, not in love with Wilson right now. I'm still going with Luck, even though he's facing Dallas, which is a tough opponent. I would still go with Luck. He scares the crap out of me, even though I hope the Cowboys can handle him. He's one bad man. One bad man. Thank you, no name. Vincent, thanks. What about Cooper or Boyd? Is that Amari Cooper? Because then it's Amari Cooper. 13.1. That's the highest I have any wide receiver projected this week. There's almost no chance of him being above 23.1 points. And the Colts give up almost no points to wide receivers. But it's still, I think they haven't really played what the Cowboys are doing right now. So that doesn't bother me too much. He still comes with a lot of risk, and I like Boyd too. I really like Boyd. Don't get me wrong. I just think Cooper does something totally different right now than any other receiver in the league with what the Cowboys offense is doing. And he's predicted for 5 receptions, 18 points in total. So I prefer Amari Cooper. Well, he's my highest projected play, but Juju Smith-Schuster would be the only guy that I'm like, okay, he needs to be above Cooper because he comes with low risk and much higher floor and an okay ceiling. So he's the only guy I would like bump Cooper for. Maui, thank you very much for your congratulations and well wishes. Justin, top 10 wide receiver with best matchups. What do you mean? You want my top 10 wide receivers that have the best matchup? Cooper has a terrible matchup, but he's still top 2 for me this week. Expand on your question and I'll get to it. Josh Allen or Russell. That's not how you spell his name. Wilson. So high projection, much higher risk, higher floor, same ceiling. No chance in booming, no chance in busting. Okay, so I prefer Wilson over Josh Allen, but I don't prefer Wilson over Andrew Luck. I think people are there, like they love what Josh Allen is doing, but Detroit they're a tough defense. They don't get enough credit for it, especially against quarterbacks. So I would go Wilson, even though they don't pass a lot. Not in love with him, but I'm definitely not in love with Josh Allen just yet. And then you got that was Grant. Thank you, Grant. Did I say welcome to you? Welcome to the stream. Chicago or the Buffalo Bills. I prefer Chicago. I think it's gonna be a tough matchup, but I think they might pick one off. I think Rodgers is gonna hurt them, but they're still gonna rack up points. If that makes sense. He's not gonna hurt them enough to whereas they're not viable starting in fantasy. But he's gonna rack up some points as well. And that was Grant. Thank you. Maui got one for you. Tariq Cohen or Sony Michel in PPR. 11 higher risk, higher projection, higher floor, same ceiling, roughly the same bust numbers, higher boom number. 5 receptions versus Michel's 1, so that's a clear win for Tariq Cohen in PPR. Clear win for him. And then we got Jordan Howard, Allen Robinson, or Marlon Mack. Let's see. I knew Mack's gonna have a high projection, 8.3 with a low risk of not reaching that. But almost no chance in booming and busting. I don't like these two too much. I would probably still go with Marlon Mack. I feel like he might take... I don't think he's going to get like extreme yardage. He might get like 23 yards and a touchdown. I think that's what you can hope for here. Or that he get 83 yards. I don't think he's going to... He's not getting a lot of yards and a touchdown. He's either getting a touchdown and a few yards, or he's getting a lot of yards and no touchdown. But I'm still, with the numbers, I'm still going to have to go with him. Even though I don't want him to be good. I think he might actually be the better pick over these guys. That was Grant. And then Josh, DJ Moore. Excuse me. Or Tyler Lockett. And that's going to be Lockett. There's a video on YouTube here on the channel talking about Lockett and how good his matchup is against San Francisco. They struggle so much with the deep ball, and Lockett is so good in the deep ball that I think he's gonna be badass. If his red zone numbers were a little bit better, I would have given him another 6 points in the projection. He sees a little bit. He doesn't see enough red zone targets to be a viable red zone threat. But when he does, I don't remember exactly, but he's a good red zone target, but he doesn't see enough of them. And that's the problem. Otherwise, the 49ers give up, I think, on every 5th throw to a wide receiver in the red zone, they give up a touchdown. And as I said, they struggle with defending the deep ball, where Lockett is really dangerous. So I would start him. Not in love with DJ Moore. Never have been this year. Been in love with Tyler Lockett, and I think what he's done has been really impressive. That was Josh. Thank you, Grant. If not Allen Robinson, would you start him over Amari? If not Allen Robinson, would you start him over Amari Cooper? I would only start Juju Smith-Schuster over Amari Cooper. Let's get them up here. That's the only guy I would start over Cooper this week. Allen Robinson is still low projection for me. He does have a high ceiling. I mean, 14 compared to the other two aren't that high, but it is high compared to a lot of other receivers. So he's not a bad option. I just think the other guys are so much better, especially this week. Mark, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Full point PPR, Matt Breida or James White. I'm starting to lose that voice again. But let's power through it. We got 8 more minutes. Let's go. Let's go. Roughly same projection. Higher risk for Breida. Lower floor. Lower ceiling. Lower chance of busting, so that's alright. Lower chance of booming, so that's not good. So, and full point PPR, 6 receptions for James White. So that's a James White all the way for me this week over Breida. Also, he's coming back from an injury, so that might be a little. Allen Robinson or Dante Pettis. Pettis, full point PPR. I know it's going to be him. Either way, I like him very much. Him and Tyler Lockett are some of my favorites this week. Really think both of them are going to be good. 3 receptions, 4 Pettis. That's not the highest, but, you know, only 4 for Robinson. Still higher projection. Okay, he has a higher risk, but he does have a higher floor and a much higher ceiling. Both have the same chance of busting and booming-ish. So I like Pettis. Prefer him over Robinson. I know people want to play Robinson because they're playing Green Bay and they give up a lot of points to wide receivers, but I prefer Pettis over Robinson as well. The scheme is more favorable in San Francisco, and I think Nick Mullins is doing all right. Wide receiver with the highest floor this week. Where do I have that? That should be on the website. Let me grab that real quick for you. I can get you a link with that. That might be easier, actually. Rest of season rankings. That should be wide receivers. There we go. That should be all the floor and ceiling numbers for wide receivers this week. We got Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Edelman, Jones, Beckham Jr. is hurt, but I'm putting up hurt numbers apparently. Keenan Allen got hurt, but he's still there. Robert Woods, like him a lot this week. Same with Brandon Cooks. They're 6.2 and 6 and 16.2 and 16.2. They're extremely evenly matched, both of them, which is very interesting. That was Justin. Justin, did you get that? And do you see what I'm talking about there on the website? Please let me know if that's an alright answer to your question. Awesome, perfect. Oh, sir, thank you. That's nice. Nicholas, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Curtis Samuel, my favorite of the or Sony Michel or Dante Pettis. That's gonna be Pettis again. Samuel is my favorite Carolina Panthers wide receiver right now, but that was half point PPR. So Pettis has the most receptions combined with Samuel, 3. So that's all right, and it was half point. He has the highest projection. Sure, he has the higher risk, but he does have almost the highest floor. He does easily have the highest ceiling. and higher chance of booming than Michelle, who would be the closer one in standard, but Samuel would be closer up here, but he does have a high chance of busting and a much lower ceiling. So that's going to be Pettis, followed by Samuel, and then Michelle in half-point PPR. Yes. No. That would be Pettis, Michelle, Samuel in half-point PPR, and Pettis, Samuel, Michelle in PPR. But I would start Pettis of those three. Nicholas. Derek Carr for Russell Wilson. That's Grant. People love Carr this week. I'm not buying it. Sure, Cincinnati people, oh, you know, they're going to stack it up. Remember when everyone stacked up Chargers against the Browns? Was it 2 years ago? Sometimes that backfires like you've never seen it before. I prefer Wilson. Higher projection, lower risk, higher floor, higher ceiling. Sure, higher bust chance, but a much higher boom chance as well. And the higher boom and bust comes with a higher floor and a higher ceiling, so that's all right. I'm going Wilson over Carr. I'm not buying the whole Derek Carr revival this week. That's a storyline that I'm not gonna go for. I can see my projection for Lamar Miller there on screen though. Holy crap, that was off. That was way off. My bad. My bad, y'all. Where are we? Justin, any hesitation with Pettis playing Seattle again so soon? No. Not at all. Not at all. He's a mismatch for a lot of players. I don't like when teams play each other that quickly though, but I'm alright with it. Do you have Maui? Do you have Patreon? How can we donate? Would love to support your show. Thank you so much for that question. I do have a Patreon, but I haven't got it up just yet. I'm aiming to get 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and then you can have what they call memberships, where you can donate to the show, and then you can have a super chat where people can, you know, donate to get up the chat line. So I'm looking into that. I'm only 220 people away from 1,000 followers here on YouTube, so I'm hoping to reach that before the end of the season. If I don't, I will try to set up a Patreon to see how that goes, but I want to get over to the US first before I do anything with finances, and then get my work permit first before I do anything for tax reasons. Nicholas, sweet thanks. No problem. Sporty boy, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Vikings defense versus Dolphins, or Jaguars defense versus Redskins. Let's get them up. Jacksonville Jaguars or Minnesota Vikings. Same prediction, much lower risk for Vikings. Same floor, higher ceiling, no chance in busting, high chance in booming for the Jaguars though. I would still go with the Vikings. I would still go with the Vikings. Yeah. I don't like that ceiling. They haven't been that dominant they were last year. They don't. Sure, they're playing a broken team, but I don't think the Redskins are just gonna show up and just throw the ball to them and just fall over, even though their situation is crap. But I would still go with the Vikings versus the Dolphins. Nicholas, Gus Edwards bust rate. Gus Edwards, I think that's pretty high for me. 6.3% to be below 4.1. So that's quite high, but he has the same to be above 13.5. But that's pretty high. I don't have, what's the average bust rate that I got? I can check real quick. Bust. Just to give you something to, I can't see it for some reason. There we go. Average. The average bust chance in the league is 10.11, 10.9%. So he's still below, but that includes somebody like, an Arizona kicker being below his floor. And yeah, Jake Kumaro have 70%. Like, look at this. This is what drives up the average. it's 70% chance of being below 1.1. So that kind of impacted that. But 6.3 is not bad. I'm still playing him in one league. No, I have him benched for somebody. Who? I don't remember. I benched him in one league where I'm in the playoffs. Holy crap, we're out of time, y'all. That was crazy fast. How accurate was your projection for Lindsay this week? And will this affect his future projection? Let me see. Philip Lindsay. What did he score? I think I was way off. He scored 4, so I was almost 10 points away from it. Nicholas, thank you. Maui, have a good one. Good luck with your picks. You'll be at 1K subs in no time, my friend. Thank you so much for your encouragement. And Nicholas, thank you. You're awesome too. Happy to have you on board. And Lindsay, I was way off on him. He did come with a lot of risk, but being below his floor, he only had a 3.8 bust chance. That's very low. I mean, the bust chance is not that high, and he's still... Oh, awesome. I'm glad you like the music. That was something that I worked on, Grant. So I'll make sure to have that next time as well. Yeah, I was way off on Lindsay, but that happens sometimes. I would have liked to bump that up a lot, and this one a lot. I was still alright with the projection. I just would have wanted the risk numbers to be a little bit higher to showcase just how dangerous it was of a play. 61 is still fairly high, but I would have liked it to be in the upper 70s, and that the bust chance would have been a little higher. But that's how it be sometimes. Don't forget to share this stream with other people that you know who love fantasy football content, and make sure to get the word out there. I'm trying to grow the channel a lot, and I'm having an awesome time doing it with everybody. Hope you had a good time today. Don't forget to check out all the content on csdfantasy.com this week and on the YouTube. And if I miss anything this week, it's because I'm traveling. And that's it. Have a good time today. Good luck in the playoffs. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.